It's Friday.
Hit every stop.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna call this meeting to order.
As a reminder, these meetings are being recorded, just as Mr. Wood has.
Okay. Do we have an agenda adoption?
Yes, there is the next step after call to order is a motion for agenda
Can we
adoption.
have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Okay.
Mhm.
Now you have meeting minutes from, this is from April of last year. That was
Mhm.
last time we came.
Did everyone review the meeting minutes from April?
Mhm.
Any updates to them? No?
I don't have any.
Okay. All right. So we approve the minutes? You guys have been approved?
Motion to
Motion
adopt.
to, motion to approve the minutes.
Mhm. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Presentation. Slideshow.
Okay. Ready for you?
Okay, all right. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We have put together a brief but succinct presentation for all of you in regard to our community engagement thus far. And so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So we can go to the next slide. So we are hoping that by the end of this meeting that we will all have a shared understanding of the following. So our community partnerships process, and so where we are in that process at this point in the year. I'm kind of giving a brief overview of the application process and how that aligns with our strategic plan. And then an introduction to FACE, so our family and community engagement, reviewing our family academy dates, information that we use in order to be able to guide the direction in terms of what we're offering for our families, our FACE course catalog, and then future community engagement opportunities. So as always, we're gonna start with the alignment of our strategic plan. And so, of course, we have our 4 priorities that are anchored within our belief of equity. So priority 1, of course, teaching tomorrow's leaders. Priority 2, excellence and efficiency. Priority 3, exemplary staff, and also priority 4, empowering culture. We believe that our work is embedded within priority 1 as well as priority 4. And so just, of course, a review of priority 1 in terms of our goals, making sure that at least 65% of our OCS students will achieve grade level proficiency. At least 90% of our OCS students will meet or exceed growth. And also our 4-year cohort graduation rate being at least 92%. Specifically, priority 4 in terms of empowering culture, we have our goal 1 and goal 2 and goal 3. So of course, trying to reduce our overall out-of-school suspensions in all of our subgroups by 10% annually, addressing and reducing our chronic absenteeism rate from 21.83% to 19%. And then also implementing and maintaining ongoing and effective and meaningful engagement methods to strengthen communication and relationships between the schools and our families and also our community. And so what we're gonna do is focus heavily today in this presentation on goal 3. And in particular, as you all can see, and so I won't read those to you, so frankly, if we can go to the next slide, I won't read all of those bullet points to you. But we really wanted to highlight those particular areas that we talked about at the very beginning of the presentation, and so we feel as though those areas are really embedded within goal 3. So I do want to just say, and I know that we're gonna talk about it when we go into community partnerships, but I also wanna say that as a result of us definitely trying to bring in more community partnerships and really expand that out, as well as really trying to get the community aligned to our strategic plan, especially once we had all of our efforts last year in order to be able to do the rewrite. In our department, we thought that it was best for us to really be able to bring community leaders in. And so we hosted a community leader luncheon over the summertime, in which we invited some of our existing partners and then also folks that we were wanting to partner with, folks who did not necessarily want to partner but did want to see how they could actually engage. And so we put together a 3-part presentation for them. I felt like I'd be able to, or we felt like we'd be able to entice people to come if we fed them. And so, you know, we brought everyone in, but really wanted to talk with them about ways in which we wanted them to truly be embedded in the work, specifically this year as we're getting ready to go through the rewrite process of our strategic plan. So we went through every single priority, specifically priority 1 and priority 4, because we felt as though the folks that were in the room, their work as well aligned with those 2 particular priorities. And then from that standpoint, we wanted to make sure that everybody understood the foundation in terms of where we were. And again, like I said, their why, the what, and the how. From that standpoint, then Mr. Graffery did a presentation of family and community engagement and introduced the concept of FACE. And Mr. Sathi did a presentation talking about our community partnerships and again, explaining to them what the process would be, how we definitely wanted to make sure that their work that they were wanting to do in terms of their collaboration with us did align with our priorities within a strategic plan, as well as I wanted to make sure that they understood that a strategic plan is not a catch-all, and that every single priority and the goals within those priorities is really fine-tuned to trying to address a specific thing within the district. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Sathi for him to talk about community partnerships.
All right. We have been busy with community partnerships, and that is a very good thing. So we can move on to the next slide to start talking about the partners themselves. All right, so we have some criteria for folks to be community partners, and those are on the screen in front of you. We want our community partners to engage in recurring activities and services, so these are not one-offs. We're trying to foster a mutually beneficial relationship, so they have goals and objectives in mind, we have goals and objectives in mind, and this works best when it's mutually beneficial. We want to utilize two-way communication, and that really comes down to, are we able to really have conversations with these partners and tailor their programming to our needs, instead of it just being a situation where we're doing exactly what is on that paper. We want to be able to actually tailor this for our needs, particularly within our strategic priorities. And beyond that, we want to make sure that what the partners are doing is aligned with our strategic priorities. In the application itself, partners have a chance to view our strategic plan and to indicate where they fall and where their work falls within the strategic priorities that are there. So they have a chance from the very beginning to have that actually indicated, and then we have further conversations beyond that. There's some coordination and shared planning that is involved there. A partnership, a true partnership, is going to really require someone from our district staff to have those conversations about how we're tailoring this program and working together. And it is a sustained presence or commitment. Again, these are not one-offs where they are building and really investing in this partnership, working really well. So an example would be a partnership with UNC Chapel Hill, provides regular tutoring to OCS students at multiple schools, and that would be through a grant agreement. By all means, that's not the only option, but that is a good example that would kind of summarize a partnership. And we can move on to the next slide. So our review process, and I've touched on this a little bit, but the application review process, there is a website, and we're telling folks, we've kind of shortened that URL so that we're able to just go to orangecountyfirst.com/partner, and then you can apply there. Whenever anyone's interested, they go to that website, they apply. Again, the links to the strategic plan are there for them to learn more about what our goals and our visions are. They submit that application. At that point, we have a team within the district where we are reviewing those applications. We're looking for that alignment within the strategic plan. We are then notifying them of their status. And sometimes that may mean we need to have another conversation. We need to learn a little bit more. And if they are approved, we are establishing a formal relationship, and that would be through the MOA or MOU. And from that point on, we have an onboarding meeting. We've already had one of those with our partners, and that was a wonderful experience to have them all work together and hear from each other what they are doing and what they're bringing to the district, and also for us to actually connect them with the district staff that they would be assigned to, and I'll speak more to that in the next slide.
Okay.
So some more details about the approval process. Those applications are reviewed twice a month. The newly established partnerships are then connected with a district staff point of contact, and we work to make sure that it is the right point of contact for that particular relationship. And as part of As part of this process, it's always continuous improvement, so one thing that we have implemented as part of this process, as we've realized we needed to strengthen this particular aspect of it, is that we have actually started to reach out early in the process, even before an organization is approved, to talk to someone within the district in that particular department and to say, hey, would this align with the work that you're currently doing? And not only does it align, and Dr. Lanier brought this into it and I really appreciate this, is it gonna enhance your work? Cause that's really what it comes down to. And then from there, we have those conversations and we're able to truly pinpoint who that district point of contact would be. And we establish that, so when the organization receives their notification email that they've been approved, we are naming that staff point of contact. That point of contact is already aware of it, we have the information there for them to have that communication. And then we tell them about the onboarding meeting, which I'll speak about in a second. Those newly established partners are then invited to that onboarding meeting, which is where they will learn more about our vision and our strategic priorities. They're also gonna hear some guidelines, expectations, and safety measures, and by safety measures, I'm referring to background checks. And then at that point, we allow them to continue connecting with their district staff member, their contact that's assigned to the partnership. By all means, that is not the only point of communication that they will have, that is just the early stages, and we can move on to the next slide. What you see here is a list of our approved partners so far, and this includes those who are approved through our mapping process. So we've got a pretty large list here, and a lot of organizations do fall under the Orange Partnership umbrella, and not all of those are listed out here.
So one of the things that I'll just jump in and also say is, and this kind of goes back to the point that Mr. Sathy was making around making sure that, the collaboration is really going to enhance the work that we're trying to do. And so say, for example, Mr. Gravery has reached out to all of our partners in a way to be able to advertise the engagement series that we're going to have, or the engagement meetings that we're gonna have with our strategic plan. One of the things that we talked about back in August when we pulled everyone together, based upon why they were there and again and what they were doing, we wanted them to start thinking about which particular priority that they may want to actually do some work in. And so we've actually started receiving some responses back saying that they would come to particular dates as a result of us actually sending out those dates. I was actually speaking with one of the partners today around the work that he's doing with Ms. Bowers, who is our elementary director, for pre-K as well, and really trying to think along the lines of kindergarten readiness, say for example for our pre-K students and our pre-K families, and really bringing them in, and maybe even trying to do something around setting up a PLC between their organization and kindergarten teachers that we have here in the district. So we're wanting them to think outside of the box, but again, how they may be able to, again, enhance the work and the goals that we're trying to do around the different priorities that we have. So just wanted to throw that piece in.
And that is all I have for that part.
So any questions? I mean, of course, feel free to ask any questions as we go along, but we wanted to stop now and just see if you all had any questions around, community partnerships and the application process, or.
Any questions?
I can't think of anything right now.
Just a quick one, how do you distinguish between, like, I saw some of our students going to the diaper bank, and I know they provide materials for our schools, and is there a line we say, okay, it's a partnership versus we leverage benefits, or where do we draw that line? Because they're the ones that I think about as they do provide us things for our schools, and then we've had students go there and volunteer. And I'm just picking that. I could probably pick another one, but I was just curious when we see that extra opportunity in between, because the mutual benefit, I think, is really key that you mentioned, but I was just curious. It doesn't have to be that example, it's just one on the top of my head.
But are students going on their own with their families to the diaper bank, or are you saying that this is during school hours?
This was a school, it was on a school website saying, hey, here's our students getting some of their community service working with the diaper bank, is what I remember saying. But But again, I was just curious of kind of where's that threshold or?
A lot of this comes down to, it's a variety of factors. I'll refer back to the slide from earlier that indicated some of those areas. It also comes down to like, what would be in the MOU, what would be in the MOA? And if we're thinking of like a one-time kind of donation, that when we have the conversations about the MOA, MOU, it may not be necessary at that particular point. And so we look at a variety of things, particularly what will go into the MOA, MOU. This is gonna be a recurring service. Is it more of a vendor? Is it more of just a flat-out donation? Is the organization working directly with students in our schools? So there's a variety of conversations that we'll have
Okay,
as we make that distinction.
because like you were saying, Porch comes to mind as well. And like you said, they do a lot of donations and very specific. And then we have, you know, the grocery store up here, and so those may be partnerships that are donations driven versus, hey, true, we wanna meet with you and talk about more strategically aligned items.
Yeah, it's really, you know, we're gonna have a lot of people, especially in this community and organizations that want to support our schools. I think that's a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
but does it rise to the level where we need a MOA or MOU? So I think, you know, just to, you know, when I first arrived, we had a lot of people saying we had this partnership. And my first question was always, well, who is your district point of contact? Because I think that's a very important piece, because the work has to be guided in some way, shape, or form if it's going to enhance what we're doing, like Dr. Lanier was saying, and really impact the students and meet the needs of the district. And so we may have lots of supporters and different clubs that are student-led, where, you know, you might do some community service, and that's wonderful, but it might not rise to the level of a partnership. Not that you don't partner with us, but our definition will rise to the level of, does it match our needs within our strategic plan? Do we need to establish a formal MOA, MOU? And just because we do things together doesn't quite meet that mark all the time. And I think that's okay
Yeah,
for it to
that makes,
happen.
that
Yeah.
makes sense, thank you.
I do have a question. How long does it take for the process? If someone submitted a request to be partners with Orange County Schools, how long would it take for them to know?
You wanna answer that?
Yeah, so we review those applications twice a month, and the original, you know, as they were starting to come in, we kinda got a lot of them, which is a very good problem to have. So that initial one took a little bit longer than we wanted to take, but we reached out to those applicants to let them know we're reviewing those applications. We're looking at generally within a month.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's reasonable.
within a month, and ideally wanted to keep that less than that month, but yeah, generally within a month.
Okay, thank you.
And how many have we denied, I wonder?
I don't have that number right in front of me,
Right,
but
right.
I can get that
I
to
know
you.
where,
Yeah.
but we have denied some organizations,
Yes.
I'm sure. That's good.
You have any other questions about community partnership?
No.
Okay, so we'll move on to our next session, which is Family and Community Engagement, or FACE. And so Mr. Graff, Marina, and I are gonna, you know, kind of talk about this piece, but actually, I'll just turn it over to you. Yeah, just turn it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Our family and community engagement initiatives are off to a great start this year. We have our monthly FACE events, which have been based off of community feedback, expressed needs from schools, and topics that are relevant to our school community. I've received feedback from these events in various forms, including Likert scales that indicate satisfaction levels with our events. Real-time feedback from parents. If you're there at an event, you see me bouncing from place to place, talking to our parents, our school staff, and community members. And we've also received responses from our families who've completed the Family and Community Engagement Feedback Form on our Orange County Schools Family Academy website. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive, and the suggestions that we've received have been taken into consideration in planning future events. So the following tables show Family Academy events that have been or are scheduled for this school year, and the tables also include attendance numbers for the events that have been held thus far. So,
We've actually got that slide up. I did want to just add in as well into what Mr. Gregory was just saying as well. So all of those data points, as well as, parent survey, again, parent surveys, Ms. DeGrafford, we talked about the feedback from events, but then also too, and even like when we were having our family liaison, meeting today, we take in all of that type of feedback, any type of feedback that we're getting from our families, and even with some of our community partners. I was just at the stakeholder meeting for Orange Partnership the other day, and also just listening to some of the folks that were around the table. We take all of those things in order to be able to shape which events that we're actually going to do. The list, and I'm sure Mr. Grapper can also, point to this as well, the list that we had initially come up with during the summertime has actually changed multiple times because we're constantly trying to adjust based upon what it is that we're hearing back from some of our families and what it is that they would actually like to see us offer. And so that's actually one of the things that shaped the event that we're gonna have in November, which we'll, go over in just a few seconds, but I'll
Sure.
turn it back over to you.
Thank you.
For this particular slide.
in developing our FACE initiatives for this year, the FACE committee, we held a community organization lunch where we met with our organizations to discuss our Family Academy, the course catalog, and how local organizations can work with us through our community partner process. We hosted 15 different organizations, and we currently hold partnerships with at least 12 of them. From there, we started off the school year with our Strong Back to School Fair. The feedback from that event was very positive, and families shared that they had an appreciation for us and for us having that one-stop shop for community and school resources to start the school year. The next event was, while it was a little smaller in attendance numbers, it still held a very significant impact on the families that attended. The feedback included praise for our family liaisons for translation services and gratitude for Orange County Schools for allowing space for parents to ask questions about how their students can be supported this school year. Our most recent event was the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, and to date, this was the highest attended event in Orange County Schools. For all who were there to witness, you witnessed an event that was full of joy, pride, and the culture that was on display from our Hispanic communities. And I just want to take an opportunity to thank our family liaisons and our ESL department and the Family and Community Engagement Committee members for all of their hard work in making that event a huge success. The feedback received was filled with a lot of thank you, and expressions of gratitude for allowing the Hispanic cultures to be appreciated and on full display. So thank you so much, Sandra, for coordinating that. As we transition into the spring semester offerings, we'll continue to provide quality Family Academy events. In the world of event planning, it's best practice to plan as far out in advance as possible with the understanding that some of the events may be subject to change. So while I'm anticipating coordinating the events that you see before you, there's a possibility that some of the event topics or locations may change. The FACE committee is also improving our communication efforts by advertising for upcoming events at each Family Academy and sharing the event flyers with our network of partners such as Orange Partnership. So at the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, we were already sharing the save the dates for the November Family Academy.
And the first one is actually going out to our families. That should be going out this afternoon or this evening, right?
The first communication should be going out this evening. Those that were in attendance for the Hispanic Heritage Celebration, they received the paper save the date. So in the case of future topics having to change, we have a host of community partners who are willing to step in and provide Family Academy programming that provides valuable information for our students and families. Many of those community partners have also agreed to provide additional opportunities through our new Family and Community Engagement course catalog. So if we take a look at the next slide, we'll look at some of the offerings and how schools can request those available courses. So this is our first year developing a course catalog that provides a variety of engagement courses that can take place in our schools. Early in the school year, in the planning and development stages, Dr. Lanier and I met with the Family and Engagement team in Durham Public Schools just to get an idea on the type of courses to offer and how to collaborate with our community partners, because they've been doing that family and community engagement work for a long time. And based off of our conversations, it was agreed that just our initial ideas as Orange County Schools was on the right path to provide effective engagement opportunities through the development of the catalog. So when schools are ready to request these courses, they'll receive the directions that you see on the screen along with a Google form to complete. indicating their course preference, dates, times, and in which they would like for their course to take place. I will then reach out to the organizations and agencies along with the schools, share the school's preferences, and serve as the coordinator between OCS and the agencies to making sure that the courses take place at the schools, and work to finalize all of the logistical aspects. Each course will fall under one of 4 categories. The categories are currently academic support, family awareness, student engagement, and staff engagement. Taking a look at our next slide, we have a list of current courses. In this initial process, my goal was to have 6 to 12 strong courses that we can maintain and build upon year after year. To date, we have 14 courses to start, and more courses are currently in development as we speak. All of the courses here are ready for our schools to select and engage in, except for the virtual tutoring with Grow Your World, which is led by college students and the Podcast Club. I just recently met with them, so they are currently working on finalizing some of those small little kinks and the logistical pieces, but it is our hope to have that ready to go by next week, so that when this rolls out to principals, their course will be ready to offer as well.
You may be getting ready to say this, but I also just wanted to say too that we're really trying to leverage, so like a couple of slides, previous when you saw all of the partners that we have on, that we currently have, we're trying to leverage them as well to be able to build within these 4 categories, as well as really trying to tap into all of the agencies within Orange Partnership, since we do have a standing partnership with them as well. They are anxious to get in front of our families and really anxious to, again, partner with us as we're trying to get more into the community. They are also doing a really good job in helping us advertise things that we are doing. So say, for example, at the stakeholder meeting and within all of the listservs that they have, they're actually pushing out our November engagement meeting that we're going to be having on vaping. They're also have already started to push out our November and our December community convening for the strategic plan. So they're also helping us within that advertising as well. So that's just another way that we're trying to utilize our partners in terms of the outreach and, for our families.
Yes, and some of our partners that we work with consistently, such as El Futuro, that offered the September Family Academy around ADHD strategies. They are also offering an ADHD course for our schools and tailoring it towards the needs for the schools as they see fit. So much like the Family Academy offerings, the course catalog offerings are also subject to change. The majority of them that are already set and ready to go, they'll be there. But we will be offering others, and the catalog will be inclusive of more courses as the school year goes along. So we also have community partners such as our State Employees Credit Union and NC MAD, who have programs that are readily available to be introduced to our students. Some of their offerings have been a part of school engagement in previous years, such as the Credit Union's Reality of Money that teaches middle and high school students about financial literacy by having them walk through real life scenarios of balancing a budget, paying bills, determining insurance needs, and more. Our current plan is to have the course catalog go live by, I believe, next Friday. Is that still accurate?
That date might move.
Okay.
That date might move.
Subject to change. But it will allow the principals the opportunity to begin selecting their engagement courses and working with our community partners in their schools. So the next thing that we will hear about is another way in which we're seeking to engage with the community. But before we transition, are there any questions?
Any questions? Carrie, do you have any questions or comments?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I do have, going back to your comment about getting feedback from the community for the family engagement courses.
Mm-hmm.
It's applauded, people are happy. But one of the things that's been brought up to me several times, especially during the Hispanic engagement, is a policy that we have that we need to consider, and I feel the need to bring it up because it's part of community engagement. Policy 5015. I had some parents tell me that they felt like they're not able to volunteer even at the events because this policy requires a background check. Some people said they were not able to dance this year because of the policy that we have that requires a background check. I explained to them this was a public event, So I think it's something that we need to revisit, policy 5015, because the community feels that they're not able to volunteer, even being in a committee. One of them, which you guys also met at the, I'll stand back, when El Futuro was there, Wilfredo didn't want to voice his opinion after he mentioned the issue with the community and being concerned about ICE coming to our schools. He didn't want to raise that point, that policy prevents some families to be able to volunteer, even in a committee. He's like, if I just want to go to a meeting, I can't go to a meeting that is not in the school because I have to do a background check. So I like for us to really consider that and maybe explain that to the community, how that policy is. Because I explained to them that it's not, our job is not to alienate anyone. It's to really welcome people to come and be part of the process. So that was one of the feedbacks that I got. It was misunderstanding that background check needed to be done for dancers and stuff for this event and Hispanic Heritage on Wednesday, is it, or Thursday? So. Until I got. But overall, I think it's very good what we're doing and educating the community, and as we can see, a lot of them can use the help.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other questions or comments before Mr. Gregory moves on to the next piece? Ms. Gregory?
So next we have our community engagement opportunities. And we have what are called our convening schedule, where we'll be going out into the community along with Ms. Mariah Morris to talk to the community about the engagement opportunities that we have here in Orange County Schools. And we have several convening meetings that are taking place. Communication around the first two convenings have already started to go out. They were advertised at the Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, which will take place, those two convenings will take place on November 3rd and December 2nd at Cedar Ridge and Orange High. Future convenings will take place in our community centers, in our churches, elementary schools and other community centers, because we want everyone in our local community to come out, be involved, share their ideas, share their concerns, let us know in what ways we can better engage with our community. And next we have our OSNAC convening schedule as well. And all of those meetings will take place at the Welcome Center.
And those are the dates that Ms. Burns and the chair have actually scheduled thus far. And so this schedule is, I'm sure, subject to, I don't want to say change, but I will say expand. As well as, we don't have a slide talking about this organization, but also our AIG advisory is another way in which we engage our community, as well as the Equity Task Force. So these are the meeting dates that we have. If we go to the next slide, these are the meeting dates that we have that are on the schedule, while recognizing that we will also have more meeting dates to come as we continue to move forward with our strategic plan, writing, convenings, et cetera. We will be expanding those. So that brings us to the end of our presentation that we have for you this evening. And so again, we are open to any questions that you all have at this time. Frankly, we will advance the slide.
Chair Padilla, I have a question,
Yes.
if y'all can hear me okay.
Yes.
I was wondering about the events at the schools and community centers. Are they evening or daytime or a mixture?
So the events in the at the community centers and also at the schools are actually going to be in the evening. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the time is from 6 to 7:30.
Great, thank you.
Anyone has any questions? Comments?
I'd just like to say that this is a very comprehensive list, and it has it's nice to see that all of this is coming together and the work that's being done on this,
Mhm.
because it hasn't been done in a long time, and it's very important that the community have a venue to come to or
Mhm.
speak through, and I think that their work is to be applauded for what
Mhm.
they've done so far, because it's very good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, and I as well, just, I know it's not a one-time event, it's ongoing, it's building those relationships and the trust and really understanding our community. And I think one of the biggest events that I've seen in the past was the transition to high school from middle school or elementary, and just the groups coming together and the families getting a chance to talk to each other as they're learning about what to expect. I think those are very helpful, especially in reducing the anxiety of parents, because normally the students are fine, it's the parents that really need the discussion. But I just want to say thank you all for what you'll do every day and continuing it and ensuring we get that engagement.
And I'm really glad to see the engagement dates that you guys have come up with and the locations. That's good. When I first got on the board, I was like, man, I know where I was gonna reach out to all the folks in the community. And what I really visualized in the beginning was having some of the community leaders at the table, and found out we couldn't do that. But this is a great way to reach them, reach families too. So I'm very glad to see that. And I will share those dates with everybody that I know, so hopefully it'll be a big turnout.
We'll share all the dates.
Yeah.
So the strategic plan convenings, but
Yeah.
also, but
Yeah.
our
Oh,
Family
yeah.
Academy
Yeah.
series as well, because, you know, we're really excited about those offerings. And like I said, our community partners are also very excited to, you know, to be working with us and to really, you know, integrate themselves as
Right.
well. And
Right.
their willingness, like anytime, you know, Mr. Graffin recalls, they're like, yep, sign us up. So
Mhm.
we're really excited about that too.
That's great.
So I just want to thank all of you for being here today, Friday, and for the presentation you provided to us and the plan that we have in place for the rest of the year. And it's like everyone said, you know, it's great that we see it, and this way the community sees that we are working hard to make sure that everybody understands the alignment and it's aware of where we stand with all students, and we gotta just keep moving forward.
Mhm.
So thank you for all the work.
Thank you for your feedback.
So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Do we have any next steps or anything?
Oh, we gotta go over the notes?
No, but if there are
Okay.
any additional steps or you want to speak about it,
No.
you could do it now. If not, you can make a motion to. It's not like policy, sorry.
No, it's not, this one's a little more relaxed.
We aim to please.
Oh, thank you. Well, you did a great job. So, okay. So I guess we can go then.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Did we make a
everybody.
motion in a
Motion.
second, sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
And
Thank
second-
you.
and